The Zoning Board of Appeals for Monday, February 22nd. I'm going to first take a roll call. Mr. Andrews.
Present.
Mr. Blas.
Here.
Mr. Cacciatore.
Present.
Mr. Keeman.
Here.
And Mr. Gometti is not here, correct?
Right.
And who am I missing? John Goldrosen, I'm here. Did I miss any of the other members? I can't see everybody on the screen right now. So did I miss any other members of the ZBA?
Yeah, there's one member missing.
Yeah, Fred Gometti is not here, but we have
Chairman.
and Jim Chandler, thank you. He's not here. We also have Carol O'Brien, and we have Bob Curran, the building inspector. And we have, I'll call now, the first hearing is the continuation of case number 17 from 2020. This is 330 High Street. It's an existing dwelling with a proposed in-law, and what's being requested is section 6(6) special permit for accessory apartment within a single family home. So sitting on the case will be myself, Mr. Blas, Mr. Cacciatore, Mr. Keeman, and Mr. Andrews, who we added last time. So we opened the hearing back in December. At that time, the members of the board had some questions about the layout and the design and some suggestions. So we continued the hearing to give the applicant time to have revised plans done. At the last meeting in January, those plans had not yet been done, so we continued it again. There was one change to the site plan, and that there was originally was going to, I think, stick a little bit further towards the left side of the building, but it was going to be an addition sideways to the existing garage, and as I understand it, that's no longer being proposed. So all that's before us is a special permit for the in-law. So we have Ms. Laubacker, the applicant, with us, and unless any member of the board has something further, I'm just going to let her present the new set of the architectural plans. And is that okay with everyone?
Mhm.
Okay, all right, Ms. Laubacker, why don't you explain?
So I think from what I understood, we took away that extension on the side, like you had mentioned.
Right,
And I did speak to the architect. They made that adjustment. I know you wanted to see the exterior view, and they weren't able in time for the meeting. Whatever reason came up. They can change this to a gambrel roof if that makes a difference for the approval, but it's over the existing footprint of the existing garage. There's an exterior, and there's two doors here, one in here with the interior stairs on the inside of the garage.
okay,
So I know it was tossed around before about a gambrel roof like this, maybe having a better aesthetic look for it. This here looked a lot bigger, I guess, more like another structure when it was extended out the 4 feet. It's now over the existing, so if that's preferred, we'll go with the gambrel roof. If it doesn't matter, we'll leave it with that. That's really all I have to say.
okay. Why don't you, it looks like you've got, and I don't know if I can control this or only you. Let me just see.
Probably me.
All right, so why don't you scroll through so what we're seeing here is on top is the existing.
This is how it is now, and this goes exactly right up
Just
over
goes
the,
up. Okay. All right, why don't you scroll down so we see the other plans you have?
Yeah.
All right, so this is just a different angle.
That's all it is, yeah. I'll slowly go through. Tell me if you want to stop somewhere.
All right, stop right there. So this is the rear of the house,
Mhm.
correct? Okay.
That's existing?
The top is existing and the bottom would be with the raising up the garage section, which in this view is the right-hand section.
Right here.
So raising that up and putting a deck off of the top. Otherwise, it's not changed.
Right.
Okay, all right. And okay, this is another from the other corner showing the change. And so while you have this up here,
Mhm.
what's the access to the,
Well,
the second
I'm just
floor?
noticing this now. There's one here that was added on the original plan. There's one on the other side. I thought they were gonna do stairs off the back here too. That would have given 3
Okay.
exits.
So the door on the side of the garage, then is there a staircase then inside? Right
Inside.
inside the door going up to the unit? And then you have a staircase or,
And there's an exit on the other side. But I thought I had mentioned to them about just having an exit here too.
yeah. Well,
Like
that would,
I have over here
yeah.
with the small, on the
Yeah.
other side of the pool there, just a stairwell going down.
okay. Well, I don't think that would matter to
Okay,
us particularly.
well,
Um, Could you go back to the top, to the very first drawing? Because this is, I think one more.
oh yeah, sorry.
There we go. Okay. So there's,
There's some other street, like front, I think further down, but does that matter?
okay, we'll get to that. Let's see. So how, what's the entrance into the unit from the house or from the breezeway?
You see right the breezeway here,
Yeah.
the door right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm
do
not
you
sure.
go, again, you go into the garage and there's a stairway within the
stairwell
garage?
inside. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the, besides the stairway to the unit from the left-hand side of the garage.
Well, there was supposed to be one in the back of the house.
Okay, but what about, is there one from the breezeway or from the,
There's
Uh,
one from here, there's a door here and a door here. And there should
Okay.
be exit here
Alright.
as well.
and how many staircases to the unit though? Is it just like one
yeah.
inside the garage?
That's
Okay,
all I saw in the plan. I think it's
Okay.
further down.
all right. And you said if you scroll down all the way, there's a view from the street?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
that-
okay, why don't you show us that?
I think I saw some of that down further. There's another one there. So that would be one there.
Okay. Right, okay, and this is, and then these are the, okay, this is more how it looks from the street.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, lots of views.
yeah,
As we get to questions, I'll see if members of the,
yeah.
we'll
Okay,
see if members of the board want to look at something particular, but
Sure.
why don't you scroll up to the layout of the interior?
okay.
Let's see, so which of these is, looks like that first one there that you're showing now is probably the garage level.
hmm
Um, Okay.
Just tell me,
leave it
I'll
right.
scroll slowly. You can tell me. when to
Why don't you stop right where you're there, because this is the unit itself, I guess, or is this still the
This
garage?
Looks like it's still the garage.
Okay, why don't you keep going to,
Here's the second floor roof.
okay,
Here's the interior.
okay, all right, why don't you leave that one there, because
Yeah.
people might have questions about that. So
Well, I
it's-
actually have a question while I'm looking at it, because I told them just to do a one bedroom there, but. Okay.
yeah, it's, without enlarging it, what are the, it looks like you just have one bedroom there and then sort of a living room, kitchen. Oh, it's two bedrooms, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and I had mentioned to them that just one, so I don't
Yeah.
know. A bedroom, it should be a bedroom and a bathroom, a kitchen area and a living room, like a sitting TV area.
Yeah.
Let me just see if maybe there's something, no, there isn't.
All right, we'll see if, if members have any issue with that. But it's just, just one bathroom, kitchen, okay.
It should be, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
there doesn't need to be two bedrooms
And then
there.
that's the deck at the very top.
Yeah, there.
Okay. All right. Let it go to members of the board for comments or questions. Mr. Keeman?
The only comment I have is that the roof, it's the way it's shown, I'm fine with the way it looks. I don't think it needs to be a gambrel roof. I think the picture, with the way it shows in the picture is fine.
Okay. Mr. Cacciatore?
No, I think it looks great. Nice job, Mr. Lombacher. And
Oh, I don't know if it's a nice
I don't-
job on my part, but
I don't have an issue with the two bedrooms either, if it works up there.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have had in-laws with two bedrooms and
Yeah, once we took off the 4 feet, I just said, make it one larger bedroom
Yeah.
instead. But maybe they didn't hear me.
That looks great.
Right.
Really nice job.
Okay. Mr. Blas?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. When I remember back to the first hearing, I believe the board, our biggest issue was the fact that it looked that the proposed addition made it look like two large structures next to each other, connected by a breezeway. And as the board, I believe we suggested very strongly that your architect change the orientation of the roof on the garage. It was the original proposal was a roof that was, we call it an A roof. You have an existing A roof, you have an existing A roof on the garage, which is okay as a garage. But if you're building the big structure to turn the roof on the garage 90 degrees, the roof had to come off anyway, and that way it would be architecturally desirable. It wouldn't look like two major structures next to each other, but it doesn't look like the architect did anything about all the pictures just show effectively everything that we saw the first meeting with 4 feet lopped off.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, Mr. Cacciatore?
Yeah, I thought the roof line was turned, so it was facing the street, so you saw the roof, so you see the A-frame. This is this way it should look from the first time. The first time was different, if I remember correctly.
No, first time was like this.
Uh,
It was just like this.
I recall the roof line being in line with the street.
No, we suggested that it be in line with the street.
I don't recall that, Mr.
To be
Blas.
like that, yeah. Because now it looks like we have two nearly identical structures.
It's just interesting how just adding a one level on top of a garage. I mean, it is a garage that's existing, and we're just adding one level above it. That could, I don't know. It's still a garage. It still has garage bays.
Yeah.
It's not another house. It's just another level.
Well, effectively.
I'm
it
not
is-
an expert in this, so I leave that to you guys. I don't, it just seems like a simple thing to just put a floor above a garage.
Unless
And
by doing that, it no longer looks like a garage. It looks like two dwellings next to each other.
Even with the garage bays right there, 2 bays right in front?
Yes.
Hmm.
Now, I mean, if the rest of the board says, they really have no objection with the way it looks, I don't care whether it's gambrel or not. I mean, to me, that's the least of the kind of architectural concerns. But to me, architecturally, I would have certainly loved to see an option with that roof turned.
Yeah, I think that maybe was mentioned, and I think if I recall, the architect said that they would have to redo the interior support or something to do with that in order to change that around.
And I don't understand why. It's
Well, I really don't either.
yeah,
but-
it's the square and I mean, your supports, Bobby, you're the expert there. Would,
I think the most sense you could do is to try to make an A-frame roof from the front and put what looks like dormers on the sides. I did talk to the designer regarding all this, and he said it's going to increase the construction cost. Either way, if they turn the roof 90 degrees, or if they change the roof line in any way, it's going to be a lot more expensive. He was trying to do this the cheapest way possible, and he had no issue with, and I do understand what you're saying, Mr. Bloss, but he had no issue with that. He said that he thought, this is what the owner wants, and it's a single family home, and people do this every day. So I understand where you're coming from, Dick. So the only thing I could suggest is I could speak to him. There is another issue I have with it. I don't mind the way it looks, and I think there's a couple of other homes in this town that look exactly like that. The other point that I could make is that she could come in, and apply for a permit. We could issue that if it weren't for the setback. So I think she still needs a variance, and then she needs a special permit.
Well,
But the other part of this is, Joanne, I didn't express it to the designer, or maybe I did and he didn't listen, but the stairs to the upstairs portion of the garage should be off the breezeway.
Mhm.
That's critical because right now they have to kind of enter the in-law from, actually they have to go down into the garage or outside and around.
Truthfully, I thought it was gonna be on that side as well.
Yeah, and I can help you with that, but I think the board needs to make that part of the decision, is that the stairs
Yeah.
need to be,
Yeah.
the entrance to the in-law needs to be served through the breezeway, conditioned space. So that'll all flip around. The kitchen could be over on that where the deck is.
Yeah, I'm not worried too much about the
I think that
interior.
would look nice. So
Yeah.
as far as the design, Mr. Bloss, I think you have a point. And I think that it's totally up to the board whether or not they think this has the appearance of a single family. But I do recall that that's what your issue was during the first 2 hearings.
Mr. Khan, let me ask you about the issue with the stairs, the location of the stairs. It looks like the garage, the way the doors to the garage are laid out, there's more room on the left-hand side of the garage, and maybe that's why he put the stairs over there.
It could be, but hopefully the garage is deep enough that they'll be okay with that.
Okay. All right. Mr. Blas, anything else? We'll
No,
obviously talk more
nothing
about
else.
that.
nothing
Uh,
else. Thank you.
Mr. Andrews?
The only question I had is where is the second exit to the second floor?
If there's an entrance from the breezeway to the second floor over the garage, a second means of egress is not required.
I thought you had to have 2 means of egress.
You do on an actual apartment, like a 2-family. This is not a 2-family, it's a single family home. Much like you have an upstairs at your house, Wayne?
Yes,
You've only got 1 set of stairs, right?
I have 2 sets. I have one going to the second floor and one going to the cellar.
Yeah, but you've only got 1 means of egress from upstairs.
All right, I thought you had to have 2 means.
No, not required.
So what if they can't get down that stairway? How do they get out of the second floor?
There's emergency rescue openings, and that's the size of the windows in bedrooms.
All right,
Same thing as in any single family house.
all right, so then they gotta have one of these
Well, they also have the sliders out back or the patio door onto a deck. There does not have to be stairs on that. If this were a separate housekeep, a whole separate apartment, I would require that.
Okay, as long as there's a second means of getting out of there in case they can't get down that
Yeah,
stair.
And I do see what you mean. Whoever, Dick, was it you that brought up about, or John, about the stairs on the left side is easier?
Yeah,
Look at the elevation, yeah, the doors are scooted over.
Mhm.
But we'll have to figure that out because they have to enter the in-law apartment from the conditioned portion of the existing house.
Because I know I have one of these metal ladders that you hang over your window
Yes.
to get out to my second floor. And I just want to make sure there's another way for them to get out, that's all.
Yeah, no, and I'll make sure that this is built to, according to the code.
Okay, that's all I have. I have no problem with the rest of it.
Mr. Curran, another thing, while I think of it, you said you think she needs a variance. Why would,
I don't think she meets the side setback, right? Or do we have to make a determination?
but she's not adding. she's
Right,
not
so you
going-
just need to make a determination.
Right.
So a
That's-
determination that she is not increasing the non-conforming nature.
I don't recall whether we met the side setback or not, but I'll take your word for it. That it-
She's
Yeah,
not-
that was the reason for not putting an addition on the side, because that was going to maybe kick it into a variance. So I'm not, if they didn't meet the side setback previously.
Probably show up later.
let me
All right,
just
thank
do-
you. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the existing unit doesn't have dimensions on the side there. I'm looking at the site plan.
Yeah, I think Joanne, you're 8 or 10 feet. Is that what it is to your side property
No,
line?
I don't have the thing. I think what the back corner,
Yeah,
um,
Yeah,
but where we were not going to extend that, and there's already an existing
Right.
building, we were going up in space instead of side or back,
all right. So we'll make it,
closer
make
than the front
yeah,
corner.
we'll say that it needs a determination since it is going up, that's enough to make it require a determination.
so determination is special permit.
Yeah, right. So my comment is, as far as the design and the roof line and all, I mean, this is, a lot of people have what's called a frog, family room over garage, where they put a whole second story over a garage, and that's essentially what this is doing. I also remember, Mr. Blas, yeah, I know that's what a lot of the discussion was the design of the roof, but I don't know, for myself, looking at this, I'm trying to picture in my mind how different it would look, and I don't know, I don't have a problem with it being designed this way. There is, particularly where it still is dominated by the garage. It's a house that has a garage with a second level, and you can't tell, looking at it from the street, whether that second level is just storage space or an extra space for the family that has the main house, or a separate in-law apartment. And to me, that's sufficient to me to meet the requirement for an in-law apartment, that it's not looking like a second unit just because it is so dominated by the garage. That's the way I'd look at it. So I just go back to anybody else on the, Mr. Blas, do you want to make further comments?
Thanks, John. No, I mean, it's certainly not worth, for me to suggest denying the petition. I'm not going to do that. I'm just trying to act in the best interest of the homeowner, the neighborhood, provide the maximum amount of curb appeal, and give the appearance of a single family home. So, but no, if the rest of the board has no objection with it, I'm certainly not going to be a holdout.
Okay. Yeah, and again, as far as the butters go, the only people who showed up the first time owned the property that's somewhat to the left and the rear, and their concern was an issue about ownership of a little strip of land. They didn't really have any,
Oh, yeah.
remember there was, and once they, when we explained at the first hearing that what was then proposed as in addition to the garage would still not go into that sliver of land, they didn't come to the second hearing. So I think that addressed their issue. So nobody in
That
the
still may
neighborhood,
get resolved anyways.
yeah,
Between
but
them
it's,
and I, but that won't, that matter on this.
yeah. So, it doesn't seem like anybody in the neighborhood has any issue with the proposal itself or the design. All right, if there's nothing further, I think we're ready to close the hearing and go into deliberations. So what we're being asked for is a special permit for the in-law, and since this is an increase in the nonconformity to the extent that even though it's on the same footprint, it's going up a floor, that the addition is not significantly more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. So does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to
Okay.
move forward.
Motion to approve by Mr. Cacciatore for both the determination and the special permit. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Keeman seconded, and I'll call a roll then. Mr. Cacciatore,
Yes.
Mr. Keeman,
Yes.
Mr. Blas.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, were there conditions, are there conditions that are part of this, this motion?
We haven't stated any, I guess, as far as the interior staircase, that's something that I think would have to be altered for building code. Is there anything else?
I don't think so. You had a determination.
Yeah.
Then,
Yes. There was the question of the second bedroom, but I think that's
mute.
kind of up to them, really, I think.
Okay.
All right. So, Mr. Blas, your vote?
yes,
Mr. Andrews?
Yes.
And myself, John Goldrosen, yes. So this is approved. Thanks for the time it's taken and the
We're not
effort.
gonna meet again then?
Yeah, we're done. You can contact Mr. It'll take us a week or two to get the decision out, and then there's an appeal period, but Mr. Curran can explain all that to you. You'll be all set to go. Okay, thank you, Ms. Laubacker.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do we have the, I don't see anyone here. Mr. Tully, did anyone else?
Nobody outside of Joanne registered
Yeah. I don't see-
outside of the board.
All right, let's take care of the minutes and then we'll see what the story is with, I don't see the applicant for 233 being here yet, so. So let's take care of the minutes. First, I have the minutes for case number 1 of 2021. That was 544 Plymouth Street, which is the addition of a variance for a porch, a new porch. And let's see. That would be myself, Mr. Andrews, Mr. Cacciatore, and Mr. Keeman.
Motion to approve the minutes, Wayne?
Okay, Mr. Andrews moved to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cacciatore. I'll take a roll call. Mr. Cacciatore,
Yes.
Mr. Keeman,
Yes.
Mr. Andrews,
Yes.
And myself, John Goldrosen, yes. Um, Then we had the minutes for the continuation on 330 High Street, where it was explained that the plans were not yet ready. So same four people for that.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Keeman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Cacciatore. Mr. Keeman,
Yes.
Mr. Cacciatore,
Yes.
Mr. Andrews,
Yes,
and myself, John Goldrosen, yes. And then the general minutes for the January 11th meeting. Again, it would be the four of us who were there that night.
motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. Andrews. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Keeman. Mr. Andrews,
Yes,
Mr. Keeman,
Yes.
Mr. Cacciatore,
Yes.
and myself, John Goldrosen, yes. Okay, I got 7:36. I'll wait like another 5 minutes. This is for 233, 233 Winter Street, which is Jose Ferraz. I do have a phone number here. Carol?
You want me to call him?
Yeah, why don't you call him? You got the phone number? It's on the application.
Yeah, I have it.
Why don't you mute yourself for the meeting, Carol, so we don't hear you talking on the phone.
Yeah, that Monday, the 11th, that's the day I was confirmed COVID positive.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how you doing, Dick?
I'm fine now. I'm still tired, but I never ran a fever. But so I got it. Debbie got it like 2 or 3 days later, so we probably got it at the same time. She gave it to her 88-year-old mother,
Oh,
who's still in the hospital.
oh dear.
Who gave it to her, but because we were still, her mother was in the hospital, then came home for a short amount of time. But we didn't know she was COVID positive at the time. My mother-in-law couldn't come to our house because we were still in quarantine. And my mother-in-law went to her niece's house, who's 77 years old. And my mother-in-law gave it to her. So this chain of, and then 3 weeks later, I got a phone call from the mass tracing people to tell me that it was the VFW was shut down because of COVID. No, a club.
Told you were a super spreader.
Yeah, a club. Well, that's where I picked it up at. I already knew where I got it because that's the only place I had been in 3 weeks was the vets. And but anyway, yeah. So no, I was tired, never ran a fever, but had the chills, had the shakes, a headache, and exhausted for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Exhausted. Yeah. But I'm fine now.
So how is your mother-in-law and the niece doing?
They took the nieces was fine, but my mother-in-law, today they finally, so she's in a rehab place in Braintree, in a COVID rehab in Braintree. Today they moved her from one side of the hall, which is COVID positive, to the other side of the hall, which is COVID recover.
Yeah. She's making progress.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She had the pneumonia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now her sister got, which is my wife's aunt. She died in a nursing home in Brockton back in July or August. So yeah, so it kind of hit home a little bit. So everybody's trying to be careful. We all have. I don't know if any of you guys have had it or not.
No, Fred had it,
Yeah. But I'm actually glad to get it over with.
Fred's what, 80, he's 82 years old?
Wayne, you must know how old Fred is. You guys probably keep track of each other.
he's 82, I think, last month.
Incredible.
I'll be 82 in July. He's about 5 months older than me.
John, there was no answer.
All right, I think we should continue that one
Yeah.
then. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty simple one, but obviously he's got to explain it to us, especially, you know, we don't have any plan of the, what he's doing to it. So Carol, we have on March 8th, even I'm losing track because I think I sent an email out to you guys and
Yeah.
told you about March 29th and I didn't tell you March 8th because even I can't keep track of them. So we have two on March 8th, right, Carol?
Yes.
And that's 7 and 7:30. And are both of those in-laws? Or is,
Yes.
all right. Should we put this one on for,
8 o'clock.
yeah, but everybody okay with that? I already told Carol, I don't want to have too many meetings on a night with this Zoom meeting, because I just find it, I don't know, tiring, or it's just somehow hard to go longer than much longer.
Everything
than
takes
an hour.
twice as long.
Yeah, things take longer and, you know, I mean, we could push them all the way back to the March 29th meeting. Why don't we do that, Carol?
We'll put them on for the 29th
Yeah, because
at
that's,
7:30.
yeah, because we got one case on at 7 for that one.
Well, we need a extension.
I don't think so.
What's the date on it?
If it's just an in-law, all he needs is a special permit and we don't have a deadline on that.
Okay.
We do on a variance, but not on a special permit.
No, just a 6.6 accessory special permit.
Yeah.
So that one looks like they already put an addition on it.
No, that plan, if Bob, am I right, that the plan that they submitted was back in 2003, they put an addition. And I think all he wants to do is convert the basement level into an in-law. Is that right, Bob?
Yeah,
'Cause they-
this plan, the plot plan that you have was to apply for a permit for that addition. So this is an old plot plan. There was no reason for him to get it updated because they're not making any changes.
Okay.
I mean, I've gone by it today. I think it looks like it kind of slopes down and back, so I think it's like a walkout.
Yeah,
basement. Is that right, Bob? Coven?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's a walkout.
Yeah, so that's all he wants to do, which is fine, but obviously he's got to be here and explain that to us.
Yeah.
Let's push it all the way off to the 29th.
Okay.
I have a question for Bob.
Excuse me?
I have a question for Bob on that. Are they gonna have to have two means of egress from that?
No, well, there'll be one way down into the basement from inside the house, and then there'll be an exit out, and it has to be an exit out.
As long as they have the windows the right size.
Well, they could have.
That's what I did with
emergency
mine.
Opening, yeah, but normally if there's a sleeping room, it has to be, the egress has to be less than 44 inches off the floor. And it has to have a clear opening at 20 by 24 in either direction.
And that takes the place of a second exit?
Well, yeah, it has to have an emergency rescue opening, yes.
Yeah, because if there's not two clear means of egress, I'm not gonna vote for it.
Yeah.
I,
It probably has a door out into the backyard anyway.
This one we just did on High Street, it's fine, but where it's in the basement. Because I have a
No,
relative.
there has to be a way out of the basement from the basement, and there's a way down into the basement from the main house.
Yeah, because I know a family that has one in the basement, and all they have is an inside stairway.
Yeah, and that's illegal now.
I know it is, but that's been that way for quite a few years.
Right, but
I would never approve anything unless it
10
has.
years ago, it wasn't illegal, now it is, so.
Okay. All right, so can I, actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna read the case into the record. So we open the hearing tonight and then we'll go from there. So this is case number 2. Location of property, 233 Winter Street. Type of district, residence A2. Type of structure, existing. Owner's name, Jose Ferraz. Owner's address, 233 Winter Street. When did you acquire this property? 2019. Has application been filed with town clerk? Yes. Has any previous appeal been made? No. Section of bylaw of which relief is requested, section 6, 6-6, accessory apartment for a special permit. Reason for asking relief, owners wish to add an in-law apartment in basement. That's how I knew it was in the basement. It's on the application. This case was advertised in the Whitman Hanson Express on February 4th and February 11th. We'll have the reading of the list of abutters unless I hear a motion to waive the reading. I note that there are no abutters present.
I'll give you something to do.
I'll make,
The following is a list of
Okay.
butters using the requirements of the State Zoning Act, parties of interest for the property located at 233 Winter Street, book 50960, page 54. Gail and Kyle Connolly, Paul and Kathleen Duma, Kevin and Gail Donahue, Nicole Teresa Benefit, Dan and Paula Murphy, Eileen and Jane Cleary, 2019 Prebu Family Living Trust, Derek Keenan, Luke and Julie Sullivan, James and Betty Geary, Nicole Robinson.
So rather than appoint members to sit in this case, I'll note that the applicant is not present. So I suggest that we continue this case without hearing any evidence and continue it until March 29th at 7:30.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Blas. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Andrews. I'll take a roll call. Mr. Blas,
Yes.
Mr. Andrews.
Yes.
Mr. Cacciatore,
Yes.
Mr. Keeman,
Yes.
and myself, John Goldrosen, yes. So the case will be moved. Carol, can you, I see he's got his email on the application. Can you shoot him an email and tell him that, you know, maybe he didn't think he had to show up? I don't know.
He was probably at town hall, John, trying to figure out which door to get in for the hearing.
Mr. Curran, have you had any contact with him?
No, I helped him with the application. I know that he's friendly with Peter Palazza. I'll talk to Peter, maybe he can get to him.
Okay, but Cal, just to make it official, send him an email
I will.
to tell him that we've continued it till the 29th. All right, I think that concludes the business before us. So next week, we got a few coming up. So we got March 8th, we'll have 2 that night, 2 on March 29th. And then we have one more that's maybe a more substantial application. So, and the applicant didn't mind having it put off till April. I'd kind of like to see if anything happens with COVID by any
Why can't we have a meeting upstairs?
This,
Big room. It's a real big room.
Selectmen say no.
yeah, I mean, you can't even get into town hall without an appointment, right? And I don't know, is any non-officials being allowed into town hall at all?
No,
Not without an appointment.
Yeah, so, you know, we can meet out in
what's
the
the
yard.
date- what's that date on April?
We haven't set the date.
don't
yet.
have one yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
April already.
I mean, it'll either be probably the 12th or the 26th because the 19th is Patriots Day. So, we'll
Should be the Buccaneers Day.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Say a second.
Hi, guys.
Second.
All right, good night.
Okay,
Bye.
yeah, I gotta take the vote, so, who seconded? Did Wayne?
No.
No, Mr. Keeman seconded it. Okay,
I like,
Mr. Andrews,
yes.
Mr. Blas,
Yes.
Mr. Keeman,
Yes.
Mr. Cacciatore,
Yes.
and myself, John Goldrosen, yes. That concludes the meeting of the ZBA. Thank